Hello everybody, welcome to this video. So this is going to be a video on DynamicEQ with the dangers of DynamicEQ with orchestral music. So I just want to explain the kind of the main mistake that people do with DynamicEQ with orchestral music and why it happens and how to avoid it. So before we start, as usual, there is my links in the description if you want to learn more with my course and stuff like that, so check it out. So I've made other content about this in the past, but just to quickly recap what DynamicEQ does and why we use this in orchestral music. Well, it's to tame resonances, because orchestral instruments can be quite resonant due to the rooms and the spaces they are in. So sometimes you have wild resonances that you want to tame, you know. So for example, in the bass here. See, just to kind of even out the bass quantity between the different notes that it's playing. Now the issue with that is that usually most dynamic EQs work with fixed thresholds, or sometimes they have automatic thresholds like a Pro Q3, but sometimes it's not so useful because it doesn't behave like you want. So the issue is that people set their dynamic EQs for one specific event or one specific part of the track, and then it doesn't behave properly in other parts. So that's why you need to really assess the tonal balance of an instrument before you set your dynamic EQ. And let me show you a comparison. So a good way to use DynamicEQ would be, for example, this horn here. As you can see, if we just play this full phrase. So as you can see, there is a pretty loud note here, but it doesn't feel that loud right now because I have a dynamic EQ. So let's see. So, you know, it prevents this huge this kind of blob in the mid-range when you have this note. So in that case, there was a tonal imbalance because this particular note here is not particularly bright. In fact, the notes before and after, which are technically quieter, are brighter. This is quite a round note, and it's a specific note on which the mid-range really jumped, you know? So DynamicEQ here makes sense because we are not creating a tonal imbalance, we're just correcting the tonal balance. So essentially we're compressing just the mids, controlling these strong fundamental frequencies, but we're not like thinning out the sound. It's not like it's super bright and we're actually thinning out the sound. Now, an incorrect use of DynamicEQ would be, for example, doing something like this. So you want a more streamlined choir, sure, fine. Bit of dynamic EQ. Sounds fine, but then you reach this spot here. And now it's just a bit too thin and harsh. It's not much, but I could make it worse. It's just... It's like it's overly thin for no reason. Like you keep more warmth here. And here it's just a bit brash, right? And the issue is that you need to assess basically, is my dynamic variation tonally balanced or is my dynamic variation tonally unbalanced? So what I mean by that is that sometimes you have natural crescendos. You can have the strings kind of swell and everything kind of goes up in volumes. The highs goes up in volume, the lows go up in volume. So the dynamics are actually tonally balanced. Everything goes up and down together. I mean, not exactly together. It's normal that if an instrument is louder, sometimes it would be brighter. That's how many instruments work. But the point is, it's not like there is a massive tonal shift, right? And then you have resonances. So that's what I call the kind of the problematic resonances. That's the ugly stuff. It can be due to the room, due to the natural acoustics of an instrument sometimes. And in that case, you might have a specific frequency which jumps, right? And you need to really assess if there is a natural kind of crescendo or natural dynamic variation, or if it's just a random ugly resonance. And so the example of the ugly resonance would be the horns, even though I've seen much worse than that. And the choir actually was kind of predictable. It's kind of the same tone here and here, like, you know, it's roughly the same tone. There is highs, there is mid-range, kind of the same balance. So yeah, guys, when you have a track, before you jump to dynamic EQ, try to fix all your problems with fixed EQ, with static EQ. And try to figure out, is my dynamic variation a natural, a swell? and everything is still balanced, or is it a dynamic variation that kind of pushes too much of a frequency in particular? In that case, you can really address it with DynamicEQ, but when you set your threshold and your cut, make sure that it doesn't kind of worsen the tonal balance as a result. DynamicEQ is supposed to preserve the tonal balance, but it's not supposed to actually kill your dynamics as well. Like, you're not trying to kill the dynamics. So then a question might arise: how do you control a wobbly area on a quiet section of one stem and also on a louder section of one stem, you know, when you have too much variation? Well, you can't really use a fixed DynamicEQ, a fixed threshold DynamicEQ, because then you end up with, you know, pinning down and thinning out loud sections unnecessarily and ruining the tonal balance. So what you need to do is either use an automatic threshold DynamicEQ. So this one has it. For example, if you go to auto, you can. Sometimes I prefer to use manual because for like specific moments. And then my automatic threshold thing would be Gullfoss. Because why Gullfoss? Because Gullfoss bases its correction on the whole tonal balance of the track, right? So it's not basing its amount of compression on the input volume going in this specific band. Whereas Precure 3 is just kind of assessing, okay, how loud is this area based on my threshold? And okay, if it goes past it in this frequency range, I'm going to compress. That's Precure 3 in manual mode. Now, in automatic mode, it tries to rebalance the threshold based on the whole thing, but it doesn't work as well as other tools like Gullfoss, which bases its correction on the tonal balance. So Gullfoss is gonna figure out, okay, do I have too much 100 Hz compared to the rest of my frequencies? And it's going to try to rebalance the track dynamically all the time based on the tonal balance, not based on the input volume at a specific frequency. So it's a different way to apply correction, if that makes sense. It's not threshold based, it's tonal balance based. So you can use tools like this, which will be better for that sort of thing. You know, it will be more respectful of the source. Though sometimes you just want to pin down one specific problem at one specific spot in the track. In that case, you just use DynamicEQ. But yeah, the number one thing to remember basically is just when you have a dynamic element in the track, don't just jump to DynamicEQ. You need to assess first, is this a natural swell or is this an actual ugly resonance, an actual tonal imbalance that you want to fix? So guys, I hope it helped, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!